Chat chat. Let's see who makes that watch this week. Another transfer rumor strong all week. Whoa, chat chat. Chat chat. We like to talk the Reds and the Blues while we bring you all of the biggest news. Chat chat. Chat chat. Oh, chat chat. Chat chat.
I can't not sing along to that intro music. It is fantastic. I love it. It is another week of Champ Chat. Yes, we were missing last week. I'm sorry about that, but it was the end of the January transfer window, so we were doing lots and lots of transfer talk. But that is over. A new week has come and gone. 2 matches have been played, I think, by everybody. Match just finished with Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, which was quite an interesting one. But it is me and John here tonight. John, hello.
The best intro on the local pundit, without doubt.
And guys, you should know this because you should be watching every show we put up on YouTube, and you should have nothing better to do than to watch us. Aaron is not here tonight because he's gone away on holiday.
No stamina, that man.
Work, holidays, what is he doing? Like, how is this not his number one priority? Yeah. Anyway, good.
I was going to say there's no telling some people, is there really? Let's be honest. Priorities,
people, priorities. Okay, interesting week. Matches. We did okay, but I was a bit disappointed about the last match. We will be discussing the matches later in the show. It has been 2 weeks, as I said. The first week was all about transfers, but a little bit has happened in the last week since the transfers have closed. So we have 4, maybe 5 quick topics to discuss tonight. And then from there, we'll go into the table and the matches that have happened over the last 2 weeks. So now we can see the chats rolling in. We can see the numbers popping up because nobody knew we were on tonight, because we never posted it till 2 hours before the show. But guys, you should know this is our time. We pretty much don't move it that often. So you should expect us even if there's no thumbnail up there. And if you want to give out to us for not showing up on the rare occasions that we don't, come into the Discord and give out to us there. That's where all complaints are taken. C'est la vie. But it doesn't happen that often. We don't skip too often, John, do we?
Not really, no. I think we've always one might be missing, but I think there's always 2 of us around, isn't there, usually?
Yeah. I am feeling a bit better. I'm not completely back, but I can talk and I can open my mouth without pain shooting through my ear. So I did take a couple of days off. I missed out on extra time after the last match. And you know what? We lost the match. So there you go. It was one that we could actually cancel and not have to worry about too much. It's not like we won 4-0 or something, you know. You want to be happy and chat all about it. So we got to maybe steer away from a little bit of negativity. But I do have a lot to talk about on that match because I have said nothing about it since it happened because I've been ill. How did your matches go?
The last 2 we won, I think. We beat Oxford and obviously beat Leicester on the weekend. So hit a nice little bit of form so far. Yes,
you climbed 5 points on us. You're slowly coming up from behind. Some people like it from behind, some don't. But hey, take it whatever way it comes, and we'll see who wins at the end of the season. I'm still disappointed you didn't do a jersey bet with me on which team was going to finish higher. Because you know what? Look, I kind of don't like Peterborough anymore, but I still have the jersey. I still wear it around when I'm cleaning the floors and doing some dirty shit, you know. I throw it on when I don't care if it gets dirty or I spill something on it. So it has its uses. I kind of wanted a Birmingham one for next season.
They're too bloody expensive.
Okay. I see some questions in the comments, guys. We are going to hit injuries and all the stuff that happened in the matches a little bit later. We kind of like this to be a little bit of a news show, and we haven't done news for a while because it's all been about transfers. So, biggest story in the last week, 10 days. What was it, John?
Leicester City points deduction. Finally
turned up, and it was a little baby one.
Yeah, I think
lots of people were expecting the baby one. Some people were hoping for a big one, but no, they didn't get rammed with a big one. Just a little small one. Barely felt it, maybe. Barely felt it.
I think there was John Percy, I think, did a story probably about a month ago where he kind of tentatively suggested it could be around the 6-point mark, and he usually is pretty spot on. I still think he's got a source somewhere inside the EFL because he seems to get all the EFL scoops, if you know what I mean, spot on.
Yeah.
So when he sort of said that, I kind of straight away thought, the talk of like 15 odd points was out the window if he was talking like 6 points. So.
Okay, so first up, I will bring up the statement when they put it out, which of course is about this big, just like their punishment. Itty bitty one. So let's have a quick look at it there. And let's do this one just for fun. There you go. Right. So this was the announcement that went up on the EFL website. The EFL notes the decision of the Independent Disciplinary Commission appointed under Premier League rules, blah, 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 blah. On consideration of all relevant factors, the Commission has recommended a deduction of 6 points. The EFL board has met to consider the decision and determined that the sanctions should be applied to the championship table with immediate effect. Fantastic, that, isn't it? Press release.
Yeah, I think the key out of that was the line appointed under the Premier League rules. I think that's the
throw it over there.
Yeah, well, I think that's where, or I would say that's where like the itty bitty points deductions come from, because it's the Premier League rules and thus their, shall we say, line of punishments.
Yeah. Okay, so I have another article here that goes into more detail, lots of waffle, so I'll try and get through to find something interesting in the article. If I can pull it up, there we go. And someone wants me to do Tai Chi because they obviously know I need some exercise. So, scanning down through this pretty quickly. This is Sky Sports. Leicester City have been docked 6 points after being found to have breached EFL's profit and sustainability rules for the 23-24 season. This drops them from 17th place to 20th, so they are basically only above the relegation zone on points, goal difference, sorry, equal on points, but their goal difference is obviously better. First up, not a chance they're going down with 15 games-ish left.
No, I can't see. I think the only people that seem to think they're going down is actual Leicester fans themselves. I think everyone else is a little bit sort of, you're going to have too much to get dragged into that. So
I would love them to fall apart and drop down. I really would. It would be fun. It won't happen though. I don't think so. Surely they have enough. Surely they have enough in 15 games.
Yeah, I'll be honest, having watched them in the flesh this weekend, I don't know how bad they have been playing before, but there was a bit of fight about them in that game where you just, and it's one of those, you kind of forget how many good players they actually have. Yeah. I mean, when the team sheet gets out, granted, I don't think they've got a striker at all in their squad who's worth anything, but I mean, they still had Skip in midfield, they had Lascelles at back. You just went through the side. Begovic started and goal. It's just like a real experienced core of a squad where you just think, yeah, all right. They're probably missing a few areas and squad's a bit weak in certain places. But you look at them compared to like Oxford, Blackburn, West Brom. It's like they're levels above them still, even if they're playing crap. So, yeah.
Yeah, they really should. Okay, so it goes on. The Foxes are currently without a manager, having sacked Marty Cifuentes last month, so they haven't sorted that out yet. Interim manager, is it one of their own coaches or?
Yeah, it's Andy King, who of course is an ex-player of theirs. He's a bit of a legend, I believe. He's one of their own, so he'll get the grace of the fan base, I would say.
Okay. So here it is talking about the commission. The commission was appointed under Premier League rules last May after an arbitration tribunal ruled justification to investigate alleged breaches of the EFL rules could transfer to the Premier League following the Foxes promotion. The commission determined the club had breached relevant PNS threshold by 20.8 million. That's a couple of players.
Yeah, I think
maybe not what they spend on players, but it's for everyone else, it's a couple of players.
I think this is the key, because obviously the Premier League, I don't think, have a sliding scale, or shall we say the Premier League punishments. It's kind of like, I mean, you look at like Everton and Forest, it's kind of like a standard 6 points, or for breaching FFP. There's not really a sliding scale of, if you breach it by X amount, it is these amount of points, whereas the EFL do that. The EFL, well, I say they do that, but they've kind of gone, a bit of a precedent has been set, and depending on how much you breached, kind of determines how many points you do get. And I have no doubt, if it had been a commission that had gone off EFL rules and they had breached by 20 million, they would be looking at, like, I think they would have been looking at 15 plus points, because people, I mean, we got deducted points. We were the first ones, and we broke FFP. I think it was by 7 million, and we got, I think it was 9 or 10 points. So if they had a breach by 20, and under the EFL rules, it would have been a lot more points. So,
but this was relating to a Premier League season, obviously.
Yes.
So 20 million for them isn't quite nearly as much. That's kind of low level. If you're going to breach it in the Prem, you're going to be at least 20 million, maybe, are you?
Yeah, I think this is the one where, I mean, I'm sure it'll come to it in the statement, where the Premier League wanted 12, didn't they? Or
that's coming up now next.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Foxes were also found by the Commission to have breached Premier League rules in failing to provide their annual accounts to the league when requested to do so. Right. I think this is a load of shite. I'm going to be straight about this. I always have, right? Whoever made up the rules in the first place did it completely wrong. Completely wrong. What the rule should state is you double everything before you even start. So you start with 12 points or whatever doubling system you have. That is your starting point, right? And from there, you can have a reduction if you provide everything and are completely open and transparent and work with the commission. Then you can have a reduction of 50%, kind of for good behavior. And that's the way you do it. You don't do it the other way around. You don't say, oh, well, it's 6, but we're going to make it 12 if you're a bad boy. No, start with 12 and then make it 6 if they're a good boy. And I think that would make your rule stronger.
Yeah, I think this is where I have an issue with FFP, PSR, whatever you want to call it, where it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you get me, it's just, and I've long said it. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any financial sort of rules or something in place, but what we have now is not right. It's not fit for purpose. And like you said, the rules and the punishment, it's just all written wrong. It's like it for me, it needs chucking out and something else needs coming in. But I've always been of the opinion, FFP kind of annoys me a little bit because it was brought in with it will save clubs going bust was the mantra of it. It was to protect football clubs. And it's like, well, how many have gone bust since FFP was brought in, and how many went bust before? I mean, it was just BS, to be honest.
Yeah. It's all marketing spin. We want this for these reasons. How do we make it look good so everybody will accept it? Okay. So then it goes on. The club said the point sanction the commission recommended remains disproportionate and does not adequately reflect the mitigating factors presented, the importance of which cannot be overstated. Listen to this. I love this. Given the potential impact on our sporting ambitions this season. That is the point. You break the rules, we screw over your sporting ambitions. That's the whole point. Like, it's ridiculous. So they get off with an easy result, and now they're still complaining you didn't mitigate enough. Like that's crazy.
I think I even listened to a Leicester podcast and they were talking about it, and they were actually talking about their own club statement, saying they were disappointed because it all stems from the fact of when it was the season they went for it. They spent loads of money in wanting to get into Europe. That was and it went horribly wrong. And of course they got relegated. I think it was that season. So it was kind of like they gambled and lost. Now it's like, well, you can't blame anyone else. You guys decided to spend that amount of money on the proviso that you thought that you were going to get into Europe, and it went catastrophically wrong. You've got no one else to blame but yourselves.
Yeah. And then it goes on. The Foxes, okay, that's the historical. They previously got away with breaches, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, now it's just waffle. So let's pull that down. Obviously, they've gotten away with a load of this before. So people are a bit upset that they might be getting away with it again. And I'll tell you, do you know what? It would be hilarious if Leicester decided to appeal this or to push it even further, because it's highly unlikely they're going to make it worse.
Yeah,
I know they should. They should just walk away now, take their 6 points. But I have a tiny little suspicion they might push it. They always have.
Yeah, I have to admit, when I saw their statement about it, I just kind of sat there and just went, God, the brass balls on you guys. You've got away with murder there, lads. Take your punishment, don't say a word, and run away. I think it's the statement, or I think the EFL one, where it came out that all parties, subject to appeal. I'd love the Premier League to appeal it. I just love them to say, no, we wanted more. We don't like this. We're appealing it. I don't, like you said, you'd never be surprised by Leicester, but surely there's like some degree of common sense in that football club that just goes, we got away with one here, lads. Let's put our head down and just like pretend it never happened and carry on. But yeah, they got lucky, didn't they? Let's be honest.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did. If that was 12 points and they were 6 points into the relegation zone here after the bad season they've had, I could see an outside chance that they fall apart and they start infighting and the team is bitching at each other and whatever, and players are waiting to leave the club and don't care. All that sort of backroom biting could start happening and you could fall apart. But yeah, they're not in there just at the moment. 2 matches, they'll be outside. Another 2, 3, 4 matches, they'll be comfortably starting to pull away.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think had they got enough deduction to sort of put them, not cut adrift, but say 3, 4 points or 5 points, from safety, it would have been interesting to see how that squad would have reacted. Yeah, because even now, they're in a relegation fight, and there's a lot of players there. All right, they were in a relegation fight last season, but that was in the Premier League, and they were kind of expected to be in a relegation fight. I can't imagine the likes of Fatawu and Mamadidi and all that, and Winks and all that would be sort of looking at the league table and going, "Oh, great, we're in a relegation battle to go down to League One." It would have been really interesting to see how that squad mentally would have coped with that sort of just that situation. But like you said, now it's like level on points, aren't they? And I won't say it's in their favour, but they are clearly better than the teams in and around them. So all they've got to do is pull a few results out.
Okay, I just saw in the comments there that Leicester have bad fixtures coming up. So I just pulled it up here while you were talking. So next up, they have Southampton, which on their day, they can do okay. But obviously haven't had a decent run themselves either, to be honest. So that's in the Championship, and they're at home. Then they have the FA Cup, and they're away to Southampton, which is interesting. I didn't realise we weren't the only ones doing that. Then they have away to Stoke, away to Middlesbrough, home to Norwich, away to Ipswich, and home to Bristol City. That's not actually an easy run of games at all.
No, it isn't. I mean, is a Stoke game at home? Did you say in there, or was that away?
They're away to Stoke.
Yeah, because I mean, away from home. Yeah, it's not easy. That's not easy. But the flip side is that you would say surely they will have some easier fixtures in a block after that, I would imagine. So swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? I mean, the thing is with that Leicester side, albeit about difficult fixtures, they've got the personnel there. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? If they went to Stoke and won, or they pulled out a draw against Ipswich, I don't think anyone would be surprised because they've got the players that are capable of doing that sort of result. It's just they've underperformed, haven't they, all season? So, yeah. But that is a tough run. I mean, hey, after if they do lose majority of those games, they could find themselves a few points adrift in the bottom three, and then it will be interesting to see how that squad reacts.
Okay, so everybody's been waiting for this coming, and now it's a big flabby wet one. Nobody really cares now that nothing's happened. But the chat is telling us to move along. Too much Leicester. Okay, so next up, something that we have been discussing kind of all season and following just a little bit is our old pals Sheffield Wednesday and the whole administration process. So things are not going as quick and efficiently as people might have liked. So this is the update from Chris Wigfield, who is obviously running the administration and looking after Sheffield Wednesday. So we haven't discussed this in a while, so I'll run through this. With the January transfer window now closed, I wanted to give supporters a clear, honest update on where things stand and what the focus is in the coming weeks. There's no getting away from the fact that it has been a difficult period, losing players, blah, blah, blah. Okay. During the period where they have taken over, all players and staff have been paid in full. They have achieved this without using external funding, season ticket income, or player sales at the start. So they have done it now in the January window. They've sold players for cash, basically. A £1 million supporter loan was provided, not utilised, and has now been repaid in full. So that's interesting to note. Some fan of the club went to the administrators and said, I'll help you sort your cash flow for the moment if you need it, which was nice of them. Match day operations have stabilised and improved, higher gate receipts. Club now has sufficient cash flow visibility to enable it to trade through to the end of the season under all reasonable scenarios. Okay. Around 350,000 has been spent on essential safety and remedial works to the North Stand roof. Remember, there was a big story about that was going to get condemned and they might actually lose the stand, but they got away with it. I wonder, was that one of the scenarios where it was just parts of it were loose, and once they kind of removed them and tidied it up, it was enough to keep their safety certificate, but that the work had to be done at some point.
Yeah, from what I understand, or when I listened to a podcast about it many months ago, I think they were saying it was Chansiri had stopped to save money. He'd stopped basically paying for maintenance on certain things in the stadium, and they at the time they sort of said it wouldn't take a lot just to get it back up to standard, so it would clear it. But they said that was very much of a kicking the can down the road exercise. So this sounds like obviously that's the bigger amount of work that's gone to repair it, shall we say.
Okay. So player movement in January, they got rid of Barry Bannon, Bailey Cadamarteri, incoming players. They didn't really have anyone that wasn't free or young or whatever, as expected. So they did let some players go. They got a bit of cash for it, and that's enough to see them out till the end of the season. Now, there's an interesting part about that coming up soon. Preferred bidder and funding position. Following the selection of the preferred bidder, an exclusivity period is currently in place, and they're still working on it. The preferred bidder has agreed to fund the club's forecast operating losses during the period of exclusivity. So it's going to cost them some money to have that exclusivity if they walk away, which I suppose at least shows they're some little bit willing to go through this process. It might eventually happen. but it's going slower. Okay, quick questions. Why sell players if we have a preferred bidder? Because they need money. Insolvency law requires administrators to plan for all reasonable outcomes. That includes them not buying the club. So they need cash there just in case. Okay, club is paid, everybody's paid. Are we selling players just to stay afloat? As stated above, the administrators need to plan for all scenarios. Yes, that's what they're doing. They're selling them for cash flow so that they can stay afloat for the near future and not just collapse under the weight of it. Why do you not put season tickets on sale for next season instead of selling players? I'm not going to read that. Basically, what he said is that's not my problem. That's a problem for next season. It's not right of us to take money from next season to keep us afloat now. That's a new owner problem to figure out stuff like that, which is fair. Have the administrators favored one bidder over another? That's been answered numerous times. You always get a preferred bidder at some point. More frequent updates, tough shit. That's what happens in an administration. We don't answer to the fans. Sorry, guys. You get updates whenever we give them. Final words. Now listen to the way this is worded. Sheffield Wednesday is still here, still trading, still paying its people, and still moving forward, even when decisions are hard. Meaning, if this keeps going, we won't be. Essentially, we need to get this done because we're just managing at the moment. Because they don't have a lot of more players to sell. Yeah. So, like, imagine a scenario where it goes into the summer, and the preferred bidder falls out. They won't have cash for next year. Unless they get some massive influx of cash from season tickets or whatever, but that won't last the season. They won't be fun, although it's League One as well. So anyway,
yeah,
they probably won't have that issue. Look, we expect it to get sold, but
yeah. I think the other good thing is the this Chris Wigfield guy. He's actually a Sheffield Wednesday fan himself, so. It's just a small thing. As a fan of a club, you always want people that have a link to the football club, or he clearly cares about it. It's his football club, so I think that's always a positive to have somebody in the administrators that does care. So you would like to think he's not going to sell it down the road to somebody dodgy, do you? So.
Okay, moving on from that little update. Nothing crazy there, but. Do you agree with my take on this, that doesn't sound like a deal is imminent?
No, I must admit.
That's a month or two down the road, early summer. Like, that's not we're almost done here.
Yeah, especially when I believe the last statement before Christmas was they hope to have it sort of not signed, sealed and delivered, but they kind of hope to be in the final stages by the end of January, I believe was what was being rumoured that was coming out. But you don't know what the holdup is. I mean, it could just be the complete tangled web of mystery that is behind the scenes that Chancery left, that if you're a preferred bidder, you're coming in, you're going to want to check absolutely everything, aren't you? You're going to want, financial forensic accountants going through everything to make sure something, 6 months down the line doesn't come out and bite you in the backside. So, it was never going to be a quick process, was it? But you just hope it's sorted before the end of the season, because then at least it gives them the summer to prepare and to build and be ready for next season. You'd hate for it to drag on into the summer and then for them to be affected, because then it's another season that they're gonna, I won't say they get relegated again, but it's another season where it's going to have a drastic impact on the outcome.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic then. I'm not actually going to bring this one up because I just realized I must have clicked the wrong link. It's actually a little bit old. So this one was about the EFL to discuss National League wanting a third promotion spot into League Two. And this has been talk for a long time. And why I'm mentioning it is basically because it links into all the other leagues as well. And the Premier League even said that they want to have a few of these things sorted before they do a particular deal with all the leagues. So the EFL want an extra spot. And if they're given it, that leads us to believe they will probably reorganize some of the other leagues as well. My expectation would be that all leagues will move to 3 spots at some point. Maybe not immediately, but I think that will be the general option there. And why I also brought this up as well is recently, I can't remember who it was, but someone was talking about only having 2 coming up into the Premier League, which is the opposite way around, which is not giving them 3 potentially and pushing it that every league might end up with 2. So 1 promotion and then second place to 7th or something. Yeah, 7th, fighting it out for that second spot. But I'm not going to dig too deeply into that because they're all different stories. But this story is about that last Thursday, the EFL discussed the general point again of 3 teams coming up from the National League. And the story that came out in the paper was they were hinting and expecting that at the next meeting, which should be next month, that they may actually put it on the agenda for a potential vote. Don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if somebody will scupper that at some point during the month. If a few people come together and kind of say they're not going to vote, then that's happened before as well. But this has been on the burner for a long time. I think they might vote for it. They might have a vote on it.
Yeah, I suppose I have no idea, but what it depends on what percentage they require on the vote for it to pass. Because you would imagine if it means more coming up, it's the clubs in League 2, shall we say, I can't imagine them being overly keen on it.
No, but the clubs in League 2 to League 1, 4 go up, don't they? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting question. Like, why would you bring 3 up, but then leave 4? Now I know League 2 want it, but surely League 1 are going to discuss this. Like, this is a meeting of all 72. It's not just League 2 get to decide this. So it's all 72 in the EFL. So they're going to discuss it as an entire range of leagues. So surely it would make sense then to say, no, well, we're not going to have 4 jumping between League 2 to League 1. We need to standardize this.
Yeah, because obviously League 1 has the 4 that go down, doesn't it? That's
that's the other caveat for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would imagine any clubs with a realistic thinking, potentially League 1 or shall we say top end League 2 clubs, if the opportunity comes, if they can get that from 4 go down to 3 go down, there'll be some that will vote selfishly and thinking, well, that's 1 less relegation spot potentially. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they go. I honestly don't know, to be frank. You would like some sort of synergy across. I don't like the whole 4 go down, and it's just I think it should be the same all over for me, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and I think 3 is probably the correct number. 2 is just too little to fight for, I think.
Yeah, the 2 is
especially with 24 in the league. I could potentially maybe consider the idea of only 2 going up and down from each league if every league was 20. Then okay, it's a bit more. But when there's 24 in all these leagues, I think you need 3. You need that movement.
Yeah, I mean, if they're talking like, say, the champions automatic and then second spot is essentially a playoff place, for example, or something like that.
That's tough.
That's tough because how many leagues do we see it where, all right, first place sometimes can be quite dominant, but second place are not always a million miles behind, but they can be a million miles in front of third. And all of a sudden, if that continues and you stick that second spot in the playoffs, I think you run the risk of potentially screwing the cash cow, which is the playoffs, over, to be honest.
And if you do copy it in that scenario, going down to 7th place, like they do in the National League, like how far away from 7th would your second place be in that season? You might have 25 points in some cases. Now, not always, but you might.
Yeah, and then it becomes a non-event almost if for whatever, those two teams meet or whatnot. It's just all of a sudden a playoff, which everyone loves the playoffs, becomes a bit of a non-contest. It's almost like a bit of a Premier League versus non-Premier League cup match in a matter of speaking. And then it's like, well, yeah, is it really competitive in that regard?
But then what happens if they actually knock them out? And you absolutely screw over the second position, who have worked their asses off, invested, put their money in, got their players, and because of one or two cup matches, playoffs at the end of the season, you get absolutely screwed. Yeah,
I mean, everyone loves the playoffs, but the EFL realistically want the three strongest sides to go up each season, and they want the three worst to come down. I know everyone says the league table doesn't lie, blah blah blah. Yeah, but with the playoffs, sometimes you can get a bit of a rogue one that happens. So yeah, it's the whole two go up thing. I don't buy that. I think it was Adrian Durham on Talkshite who brought that up as well, which hey, he's a Peterborough fan. Not surprised he's whinging about promotion because it doesn't matter to him. So,
right. Okay, I think that's enough on that. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We still have to wait for them to talk about it again. But I thought I'd bring it up because it's interesting and it keeps recurring from time to time. So here is a question for the biggest fans among us out there. Who's this guy? Does he look familiar? Does he look like somebody you've seen before, but just not quite?
Looks like a football manager expert, that guy. Bet he's good at it.
No, he's too young to be a football manager. What sort of experience would he have? Surely not.
I'm sure he's got computer game football manager experience.
Oh, okay. So, for anybody who isn't aware or hasn't seen it, that is Mr. Still. But it's not the Still that got fired and might be taking a club down in League One. This is Mr. Edward Still, who has just been promoted. Watford, was it? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Watford, yeah. So he's taken over Watford in the Championship. And they're doing okay, actually. So let's have a look at his experience, because this is interesting. Here we go. Take that one down. This one.
I wonder if him and his brother ever had head-to-head football manager like game.
Okay, you can't see that. It's so small anyway. Right, so I'll call it out. I'll just take it away because you can't see it, guys. Sorry. Jump on FootMob if you want to have a look at those. Right, so back to... Let's go all the way back because we don't have to go back that far. Sporting Charleroi in July 21 until October 22. Then he moved to Eupen. November 22 until June 23. Then he moved again, July 23 until September 23. How 3 months in the summer season? Interesting. So he was with Kortrijk. Not sure who that is, and I'm sure I haven't said it correctly. Then he moved from July 24 to May 25 to Lens as an assistant coach. Then he moved in February 26. February 26? To Anderlecht.
Okay.
Yeah, to Anderlecht. And they haven't updated it for his new role with Watford. So I've no idea what happened there. He moved to Anderlecht as a coach, they're basically saying here, and then instantly moved to Watford instead. Don't know.
I'm just checking. Because his brother was manager at Lens, wasn't he? I wonder if he was on the coaching staff with his brother for that Lens period.
Somebody said earlier that they were together at some point.
Yeah.
So that probably was it.
Got his brother a job. Yeah.
Okay, but he had a coaching... Here it's saying he had a coaching role at Eupen So that's probably a couple of levels down. I'm not even bothered to check. So out of 17 matches, he won 2, drew 6, lost 9, had a 0.7 point per match with them. And then here, this last one at Anderlecht, I don't get this. Something is wrong here. The dates must be wrong because it's saying that he was coaching for 8 matches. That can't be correct. 8 matches in 1 month.
He was caretaker manager, wasn't he? It looks like.
Yeah, but it doesn't show him moving.
No.
But his last job as an assistant coach was May 25, and then it jumps to February 26. So they must have got that date wrong somewhere. Anyway, he was with them for 8 matches. He drew 2, lost 6, and they had a 0.3 points per match. So this is weird. And he jumps from that into a championship job.
Yeah, to a crazy club as well, where, let's face it, if he lasts 8 matches, he's done well. But I mean, for me, on the face of it, it kind of stinks of a yes man. You know, he's a young manager which has been given an opportunity.
Yeah.
He's not gonna talk back to the ownership or the hierarchy. He's going to do as he's told because of the opportunity he's been given. So it probably smooths a few feathers over in the boardrooms. But yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I mean, it's especially with a club which are in a promotion, in a playoff hunt. You know, they're right there.
So Watford are in 11th. They are 44 points. They are 9 points behind us. No, that's wrong. 44. We are 47. Wow, they're only 3 points behind us. Down 11. So yeah, they're in the hunt. So we expect him to be sacked at the end of the summer when they don't get into the promotion spots.
It's Watford, so
maybe.
It could be anything, isn't it? I mean, it's Watford, isn't it? They could finish 6th, get in the playoffs, and they could sack him on the eve of the playoffs. I mean, it's just Watford. I don't know. It just screams like a really left field gamble. I'll be honest on them. Hey, we all might be proved wrong, but it seems odd. It seems a really strange appointment.
Yeah, it does. It's weird. So yeah, and Will still took no. He hasn't got a position yet. There's rumours that he's going to take a League One club.
Yeah, Wigan, isn't it? He's been rumoured.
Wigan, that's it. Yeah.
See, the thing is, if you had switched it round and Ed still was looking, potentially
at League One,
you could almost sort of, they've took a gamble on a young coach, and Will still getting the Watford job. You wouldn't be surprised by that. To see it the other way around just seems bonkers. I can imagine their WhatsApp group or chat between each other's a bit banterish right now, isn't it? So, yeah. Hey, bro, I'll loan you some Watford players in the summer because you're going to need them.
Yeah, that's quite funny. Okay, so that's Mr. Still, number 2. There's one article here that I'll bring up, and that is from West Brom. And I love managers talking a load of shite.
And this one talks a lot of it.
Yeah, let me just bring it up. Sorry, guys. I should have had that keyed up and ready, but I was laughing too much. Okay, now I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Touching buttons. There we go. Share screen. Right. Mr. Ramsey. So he's not looking at the league table. I wonder why. Does it scare you?
If there was ever a photo of a football manager that just screams, "What have I done? I have no idea what I'm doing." It's that photo, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good photo. Doesn't even look touched up or anything,
No.
Maybe they made him a little bit whiter. Okay, so West Bromwich Albion cannot become fixated on their position in the championship table, according to head coach Eric Ramsey. The Baggies go into Saturday's match at home to Stoke City in the relegation zone after failing to win any of Ramsey's 4 league games in charge, losing 3 of them. That's a great start. 1 point in 4.
Yeah, manager flop.
That is something that I'll always keep at bay. The state of the table is meaningless to me. Meaningless. Of course it is. From the perspective of the messages I give to the players. Would you like to hazard a guess what message he's sending to the players? Go on.
Go out there and enjoy yourselves, lads. Don't worry about what's happened before. It doesn't matter.
That's one way. That's maybe the Ted Lasso way of looking at it. The way I'd be looking at it is, let's please don't fucking lose.
Yeah.
I need this job.
I mean, yeah, to come out and actually publicly say the table is meaningless. I mean, how to get your own fan base on your back.
Right, guys, I don't know why everybody is shouting, I'm on mute. I'm not on mute. Okay, so stop shouting it, please. It's actually bugging me now. Okay, right. And apparently my finger tapping on the keyboard is... I'll try and stop that. That is annoying. Okay, that is always something I'll keep at bay. I said that bit already. You have to have that laser focus on the day-to-day because otherwise the whole situation feels too heavy. West Brom have announced former managing director Mark Miles has returned to the club as executive director, but Ramsey says he has not had time to think about those changes and what they will mean to the team long term. It wasn't something I'd anticipated coming so soon, but not something I've been able to give a load of thought to, of course, because the points are the problem and the matches and the results right now. Okay, so look, it's just a nonsense kind of interview answer, try to deflect. But yeah, I thought it was funny. It amused me quite a bit actually when I read it.
It kind of screams a manager that is, shall we say, new to this level, new to this league. To me, it just sounds a little bit like he's feeling the pressure because to say that the table is meaningless when you're basically just outside the relegation zone.
Yeah.
I don't mind the manager saying that to the players in the dressing room to try and get a reaction or try and relax them and that. But you don't come out in public and say that because the fans of the football club are sat there in the stands going, we pay a lot of money and we're seeing crap every week.
You're not taking this seriously.
And you're not taking this seriously. It's just, to me, it's not a good look.
It's too close to the end of the season. 15 matches. It's still 45 points. I understand that. There's better ways of doing it, and I guess if you're still a little bit green, you're not sure what words to use. You haven't got the spiel lined up and ready for stuff like this.
Just to counter Sean's point in the chat there, he's actually not American, he's British. He just worked in America.
Okay, so right, so that is the main topics of the news over the last couple of weeks, or last week and a bit. So let's have a look at the table, shall we? That might be a good idea. Right. Yeah. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. There we go. That's a little bit better. Right. So Middlesbrough are obviously now, after going into the lead, they just played Sheffield United tonight and won 2-1. There was no late goal there, was there?
There wasn't, but I've just seen the next fixture for both Coventry and Middlesbrough. Ooh, tasty.
Yes, I knew that was coming. Yes. So that's a fun one. And looking at the form, Middlesbrough have 5 there. How many have they got in a row? Is it just 5? Let's have a quick look back. 3. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
And then a couple of losses before. They went on a little bit of a downer themselves, but they've pulled it back since. So Middlesbrough are on a charge, a bit of a charge, and they're looking good.
Yes.
That's one thing. It's like all the time that Coventry were kind of leading, they didn't look amazing to me. They won matches, and that's fine, but they didn't look amazing. I think Middlesbrough is really starting to come into their own now.
Yeah, I think I said I think it was either with Josh or Ken the other day, I said I have to give all the credit to the manager they brought in. I think since he's gone in there, previously it was Rob Edwards, but since this new guy's gone in there, attacking wise as an attacking force, they look a different animal now. They really look like a side that can hurt anyone from a lot of different. They score a lot of different goals as well. It's not just like they don't seem. Coventry for me, for example, play the same way and score the same sort of goals. Where this Middlesbrough side kind of score all types of goals, which are makes it really hard to defend, because if they can hurt you from all areas really, then they're hard to defend against. So yeah, they look the real deal. I have to say, they've really surprised me.
Okay, so Coventry then, that's Middlesbrough 61, Coventry on 59, both on 31 matches played. Ipswich Town has a game in hand and they're sitting on 54. So let's assume they can win just for a moment. That would be on 57. Still 2 points behind getting into those top 2 places. Super Chimp Love is asking, but have Middlesbrough peaked too soon? To win the whole thing, who knows? Of course, they can slide and someone can pip them to the post, maybe. That's a possibility. But I don't see them dropping out of the top 2.
No, I mean, I think they've probably peaked at the right time if you're talking about automatic promotion, because if this form continues, even if they don't, let's say they don't win the next 5, but if say they win 4 out of the next 5 or something, and then all of a sudden you've got 9 out of, you've won 9 out of 10 or something like that, that will get them promoted at this point in the season, especially the way Coventry are going. So whether they've peaked too soon to win the league, who knows? But I think this run of form, it could cement them in the automatics, and then all of a sudden Coventry, Ipswich then will be fighting for 1 spot.
Yeah. So things are spreading out. That's Ipswich in 3rd with a game in hand. Then you have Hull City 4th with 54, Millwall 5th with 53. They beat us this weekend. I was really disappointed with that match, actually. We could have won that one, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. We'll talk about that shortly. And then we're holding it in 6th, but not by much. 1 goal difference has us in 6th place at the moment. 47 points. So there's a gap there. That's a 6-point gap now between 5th and 6th. So we'll see what happens over the next run of matches. We are going to have quite a few difficult matches coming up soon. We've got Ipswich next. So that's an interesting one. But the next one is the FA Cup. So first we play them in the FA Cup. Then we have Bristol in the league. And then we go back to Ipswich come back to us. We're at home for the league. So 2 at home versus the Ipswich both times. And then we have Bristol. I'm going to have to move that cat. Give me 1 sec. You can chat there to the crowd. I'm going to move the cat. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I see Ipswich have got you guys next in the league. I'm not sure it's the greatest time to play Ipswich. That'll be a really interesting game. Super Chip, who can take 2nd spot? If you're asking me honestly, I think it's between Coventry and Ipswich for that 2nd spot. I fancy Ipswich. I have done all season. I still have a sneaky feeling Ipswich can win the whole thing, but that's just me. But I have to say Middlesbrough are starting to turn me on that one. Coventry, I I'm not filled with confidence with Coventry right now. So yeah, but I think the top two is basically it's two of the top three. I don't think anyone else is getting in there. So
Okay. So yeah, so interesting with the playoff spots. Hull, Millwall doing really well up there. They're going to take a couple of matches to pull down. It's theirs to kind of push ahead now, keep the gap, and make it difficult through to the end of the season. Then it gets fun because now we have a massive block, all chasing to get into the playoffs. And with that last spot at the moment, the only one that looks really close. So we have ourselves on 47 points, Preston 47, Bristol City 46, Derby 45, Birmingham now 45, Watford 44, QPR 44, Stoke City 43, Southampton 43. And that's only 4 points down to there. 5 points also brings in Swansea.
yep, and it can all change tomorrow night.
Yes. And we won't be playing because we've got the FA Cup.
I think we're the only ones playing in and around that chasing pack tomorrow night. So I think because somebody said the other day, if we win Tuesday, we go sixth. But of course, you play Bristol and we don't play midweek because we've got the FA Cup. So I think there's only 3 fixtures tomorrow night. It seems weird, but there's 3 fixtures in the Championship tomorrow night. Then obviously everyone has the FA Cup, and I think there are some Championship games on the weekend as well, not many. And then you guys play your catch-up game essentially on the following Tuesday. Where we don't play midweek. So we're doing our 3-game week this week, whereas yours is the following week. So
yeah. Yep. So things are getting really tight up at that end. Anybody can take this now. Big run in 15 matches is nearly there. You know, it's kind of it'll get edgy soon now. Anybody puts in a run of matches here, they're really gonna push this hard for demanding that spot.
Do you after tonight's result, do you think Sheffield United are well and truly done and dusted for that playoff? Yeah, I think so. I think I still think they were a long shot, but I think they had to win tonight.
Yes.
But then again, it's one of those, isn't it? If they win the next 4, they will be probably back in the mix or back on the sort of the fringes of it. So
but that's an interesting question. Will they? Right. So let's say they get 9 points in the next 4. That puts them on 48. That's only 1 point ahead of where we are now. And that's 4 matches for everybody ahead of them to push points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying for them to sort of be like 6 or 7,
but close enough to think they can do it. Yeah.
If they can get within, say, 4 or 5 points of, say, 6th, 7th, 8th, for example, they will feel they're still in with a shot.
Yeah, they might start believing.
Yeah.
Super chimp love. Stop being realistic and just believe. I don't know what he said, but anyway, interesting one. Okay, so yeah, at the moment I'm putting the cutoff at behind Swansea. Now I don't think Swansea have the firepower to go on a big run, but points wise, just they're close enough. They're hanging in there with the points. I do not see them being one of the clubs that's going to go on a big run and push their way all the way up into playoffs. So then after that puts us at 15th. Then we have Sheffield United, last 5 matches, 2 losses, 2 wins and a draw. They need better than that. Norwich City, 4 wins and 1 loss. They are on form, but too late. Too little too late. They're not going to get up there. But they're going to comfortably be well away from the relegation, as we expected would happen at some point. It took them long enough to get out of those bottom 3, but the manager change helped them, and now they're comfortable. Then we have Charlton Athletic on the same 36 points. Portsmouth on 33 points with a game in hand on Charlton, and 2 on everyone behind them, which is really interesting. They're starting to put in a little bit of form. They had 2 wins, 2 draws. That's 8 points in the last 5. That's well over the 1 point per game that will get you potentially relegated. So they're slowly starting to look comfortable. They can, of course, go on a slide and drop back down in the same way we're talking about people going on playoff runs. They could go on a massive downturn. But then they have West Brom behind them. 2 more games played, still on 33 points. Leicester City then, with their points deduction, on 32 in 21st place. Then in the mud, we have Blackburn Rovers 32, Oxford United 28, Sheffield Wednesday on the -7. Big question, Sheffield Wednesday, will they get out of the negatives?
No.
They haven't scored a goal in the last 10, I think.
If you had asked me before Christmas, I would have said yes, they would have got out the negatives. I'll be honest, having watched them, we played them recently. I think, I can't remember who it was on the weekend, absolutely battered them. I think it's Swansea, wasn't it? Swansea actually took them to the cleaners. I feel for them, but they just look absolutely dead on their feet. Like they just want the season to end now. So no. I don't see them winning a game between now and the end of the season. And the honest answer is, could I see them drawing 7 games? No, I can't.
Yeah, they'll get a couple of draws here and there. They might swing a lucky win somewhere, but
they've only won one.
We'll see. We'll see. Actually, they have. They've only won 1 all season. Wow, I didn't even realize it was that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, of course, they've lost Bannon, so Talisman's gone.
Okay, with the bottom 3 here, Leicester City above them, West Brom, Portsmouth, Charlton. Do you see any of the bottom 3 escaping? No?
I'm still undecided on Blackburn. We were discussing this on the Ring and Rant yesterday. Like you said, Portsmouth, for me, they've proven to be a side that can win the odd game. I'm starting to think it almost will come down to, I still think Leicester will get out of it and not be around it. I think that last spot is between Blackburn and West Brom for me. And I think Blackburn, it depends who they get as manager, because they still haven't appointed a manager. If they get somebody decent, I think they've got every chance of staying up. But if they go in the ownership there's in bloody idiots. So, but if they go and get in somebody terrible, there's talk of Robbie Savage. You might as well just relegate them now, for crying out loud. I sadly think Oxford, it's too big of a gap. The one thing I would love, I've got a mate who's a Norwich fan, so it's no disrespect to Norwich. I'd love Oxford to beat Norwich. This just to add, you put them onto 31 points. And the others drop, all of a sudden.
Just to scare a few people.
Because just think because everyone looks at it and think, well, Oxford, can they really, no one really believes they can drag themselves out of it. But if they could get themselves within a point or 2 of safety, all of a sudden, they're just 1 result away from climbing out. And then everyone else starts to really panic. Can't see it, but I'd love it to happen.
Do you know what is interesting there? If you have a look at West Brom, they're a -15 goal difference.
Yeah.
Now, why that jumped out at me is because it was actually Leicester City below them on -6, which is not fair. So maybe I'll negate that a little bit, because Blackburn are on -13, Portsmouth -11. So it's not terrible for where they are. But there's only 1 point. They can drop into that pretty quickly.
Yeah, obviously we play West Brom tomorrow night. And reading up about it, they've got some real injury problems. They've got 1 fit centre back, and they've only got 1 fit centre back for the next couple of weeks. So not only are they not playing well, they're not in form, and key injuries to the back line as well. It's all just kind of the perfect storm for them. I have to say, I have a lot of banter with a few of my West Brom. I generally fear for West Brom this season. They do, for me, they do stink of a side which might fall this season.
No harm. No harm.
No,
I won't miss them.
No, I mean, like I said, I have nothing against the Baggies. We always kind of get on with them, but yeah, after the bit of stick they gave us when we dropped down to League One, it'd be funny to see shoe on the other foot. But yeah, they just they don't fill me with confidence that they've got anything in that squad to get themselves out of it. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, so let's move on to some matches. So next round is 32. Let's go back a little bit because round 30. Just a quick recap here because we skipped last week, as I said, because of transfers. So Bristol City got an absolute smacking by Derby County. That was a fantastic result for them, 5-0. Charlton pulled one out against Leicester, 2-0, knocking them down a couple of points, which then they had a deduction on top, which got them that close to the relegation zone. Wrexham beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. Jesus, we made a hard time out of that. But you know what? That's exactly the type of match we don't like. Don't give us the ball. Don't make us play at you and just sit there and defend. Now, look, I always say we need to figure out how we're going to play in those games. We need to figure out some sort of structure to break that down. And I don't think we've got one right yet. We won it. C'est la vie. Okay, that's all you really care about. 3 points, move on. Southampton took out Stoke City. So last week when we actually beat Sheffield Wednesday, almost everybody around us had fantastic results for us. It was quite good, actually.
I did watch that. I was going to say I watched that Southampton game, and Southampton were absolutely brilliant that game. They looked every bit of the side I expected them to be this season. They were just levels above the pass, the move, everything. And you just thought, yeah, that must be so frustrating as a Southampton fan to watch you do that 1 week and then for the next the next 5 games just basically play like Oxford. You know, what are you doing?
Hull took out Blackburn Rovers. Ipswich had a draw with Preston North End 1-1. Middlesbrough took out Norwich City 1-0. Millwall 1-1 with Sheffield United. Oxford lost to you guys, Birmingham City. Portsmouth a 3-0 win over West Brom. Bet West Brom weren't too happy about that one.
I'm not sure if you saw the videos. There was a lot of fans chanting "You're not fit to wear the shirt" and everything. And Isaac Price, who's of course come through their academy and everything, was basically giving it back to the fans, which I kind of liked a little bit. It's like, and the fans were going absolutely mad. I understand because it's like you're in a relegation 6-pointer, and basically you just killed over and died in the first half. But
that was all over the place. Actually, that was quite funny. Yeah. Then we had QPR 2-1 against Coventry. They weren't happy about that one. Bad result for them.
They were winning in that game as well, weren't they, Coventry? They were 1-0 up. Yeah,
let it slide. Let it slip. I can see them losing second spot. I really can. But we'll wait to maybe discuss that again. Okay, Swansea City then pulled off a win over Watford as well, helping them push up the table and pulling Watford back a little bit for us. So great results that weekend. What just happened? Why did my screen disappear? Okay, no, I know what happens. So we had amazing results that week. We were in 6th place, took our playoff spots, nice and comfy. And then we move on to round 31. Tough match for us coming up. But we're not the only one playing. So Friday then we had Charlton Athletic had a draw with QPR, 0-0, no goals. Derby County lost to Ipswich Town, which is kind of expected, but they managed to score. Derby's doing pretty well.
Big result that for Ipswich, to be fair.
Yeah, to pull out the points. They need to keep pushing if they want to get up there. Good win for them. Norwich City 2-0 over Blackburn, kind of expected. Southampton 1-0 at Watford, again, good result for them. They're pushing the points a little bit, climbing that table, looking a better team. Birmingham City then 2-1 versus Leicester. So now that we're here, how did that match go?
It was actually quite good. I know that obviously the sending off kind of skewered the game a little bit after 31 minutes. But yeah, we were really good. They had some fight about them. They had absolutely nothing up front, but then I don't think that's any change to most of the season. Fatawu scored an absolute peach of a goal against us. Came from like a throw in. You know, it's a wonder. I mean, he's probably got his own sort of highlight reel for goal of the season. But no, overall, we were by far the better side. But again, 10 men, it's one of those where, and I think a lot of Leicester fans said afterwards that one of the sides you don't want to go down to 10 men again is against us because of the possession hungry that we are. It's, you know, you don't essentially want to be. I mean, we had 17, I think it was 78 or 79% possession in the end, and it's just like, yeah, once we have that amount of the ball, we are going to create chances at some point. So it was kind of inevitable in the end, but good game of football. Did enjoy it, even though the conditions were absolutely awful.
Okay. Coventry City drew with Oxford 0-0.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
Shocker result, yeah. I was trying to think of the word there, and you got it. Yeah, absolute shocker for them.
Yeah.
No,
I was going to say, there's a Coventry fan at work, and I saw him today, and I said, you know, top of the league, drawing to second bottom of the league, at home, 0-0, can't score again. I said, that's an absolute shocker, mate. I said to him, Middlesbrough are going to win tonight and overtake you. And he was just sat there shaking his head. He said, and he just, as I was walking out the office, he just went, "We've bottled it. We've absolutely bottled it." And yeah, sadly, I think they have.
Did you see the GIF or video that was going around about Coventry City's season and the bobsled?
Yes. I think I posted it in the Discord.
Did you? Yeah, it was all over the place.
I think the funniest thing I had it was a Coventry fan I follow on X that retweeted it. So I was like, at least you can laugh at yourselves in a matter of speaking. So
okay, I tried to find it, but I found something else here, and seeing as it's in the Discord, the other one, I'll show this one instead. So stop screen, take that away. We're almost done anyway. Share screen.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So everybody was making fun of Coventry this weekend. And for me, they do look like a team that when they drop out of the second spot, if that happens, they will just collapse. They look like a team that's going to absolutely fall apart if they drop into third spot.
Yeah, I suppose the funny thing is, I was talking to somebody the other day about this in regards to Coventry, and they said, "Oh, it's not a surprise." And I said, "Well, it kind of is, because how well they did at the start of the season." And he said, "Yeah, but if you looked at what they did at the start of the season, that couldn't carry on. You know, they simply weren't going to carry on that amount of goal scoring, and that, you know, it was too good." So it's like, yeah, you're not going to go the whole season. So there was always going to be a natural drop off. Maybe this is just where they naturally are, I guess.
Yeah, the problem for me is when they lose and when they draw, they don't look like they're fighting for a championship. For me, you know, the players, they just don't seem like a team that's out there scraping for everything they can get and then still losing. You'll always lose occasionally. You'll always draw. I don't know. They just don't look like championship winning mentality.
No, I think they look. I watch Coventry, and I feel like I'm watching Birmingham at times, because for all the good football they play and all the nice attacking football that they play, they will always give you chances because of the way they play. That defence, you will always get opportunities against them. I think at the start of the season, the difference was every time Coventry went forward, they just scored. So when they gave the opposition opportunities, it was 2-3-0 to Coventry at that point. So it almost didn't matter. I think the problem is now they're not taking their opportunities, and teams are getting chances against them like they have done all season. The difference is now teams are actually taking their chances against them, and Coventry are struggling to take their chances, so it's kind of evened itself out a little bit, but they still play the same way. So for me, it's like they still, I won't say they leave the back door open, but just by naturally how they play, they can be got at. So
they've become beatable.
Yes,
they've dropped off themselves. They're not scoring as many goals, and you can get at them. So yeah, it's not a great combo for me. So I'm still thinking Ipswich might sneak in there and drop Coventry out. We'll see.
I'm still sort of thinking Ipswich win it, but I have to say Middlesbrough are starting to
look good.
Yeah, this run of form is kind of like you're gonna have to go some Ipswich to overtake these guys.
Yeah. Okay, so a few matches left. We have a Bristol City 3-2 against Hull City. Away match for Bristol City. Good result for them to take some points off the Hull above them.
That was Squirrelgate, wasn't it?
Yes. that was really funny. Yeah. Just play on.
Yeah.
You're wearing spikes.
Yeah, and he's quicker than most players, so you're not going to get near him.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a joke, people, before anybody jumps in the chat saying Paddy wants to step on a squirrel. No, I was joking. Okay, Preston North End beat Portsmouth. They were at home 1-0. West Brom had a 0-0 draw with Stoke. Bad for Stoke, and West Brom, a point is a point, I guess, at the moment.
I heard that result. I heard that game summed up by, I think it was a BBC West Midlands reporter, as being the most dour game of football he'd seen in his 40 plus year career of following Midlands football, which I thought, yeah, kind of sounds about right, doesn't it? So.
Okay, I'll skip us for the moment. That leaves on the Sunday we had Swansea City 4-0 versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, I hate to give Swansea any sort of flowers for anything, but that's how you should be beating Sheffield Wednesday. You should be scoring 3-4 goals on them, which we didn't, but we got the win, so I won't dig that out too much. Then tonight's match, which was really interesting. I didn't get to watch every minute of it because I was doing a few other things at the same time, but a really good match played out between Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. Middlesbrough were away. They took a 2-1 win, and Sheffield United's new player got himself red carded. It was his first game, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, and he had only been on the pitch a matter of minutes as well when it happened.
Oh, okay. I saw it, but I didn't see everything that happened around it and the context. It didn't look that bad to me. He was late. He was sliding in. The player fell over him. I think he made a bit of a meal of it, a bit of play acting. But what was your take on it?
You're like me. You're old school. The Leicester sending off was very similar to this, which I didn't think that was the sending off in my world. I think the problem is by the letter of the law these days, it ticked too many of the boxes. Therefore, it was a red card. I think it was Don Goodman who was on commentary. I think summed it up very well for a change. He said it's an orange card, which red. Which in this day and age is a red, really. Yeah. But I think even he said there was too many of the boxes which it ticked for a red card. So it kind of, he said he gave the referee not really an option. And I think he said it was the fact that it was the force he went in, and it's like I think the other commentator said, it was reckless and it was endangering an opponent, and in those situations
he wasn't under control.
Yeah,
I could argue it for being a red because he did come in so quickly. he slid through the player and kept going. And you could probably make an argument that his studs were potentially up as well at some point, although I didn't pay much attention to that. But the way he was coming in, he may have had studs up at some point, which can also be deemed reckless in itself. So
yeah, I'm just old school. I don't like seeing red cards for challenges like that because I in my world, it's a strong yellow card, basically. But I'm old school, so.
Yep. Well, I don't want Sheffield Wednesday to do well this season anyway, so I don't care. But a draw would have been nice for everybody. Draws are always good when you're trying to improve your position in general.
I think
we're not getting near Middlesbrough.
No, I think the key tonight was Sheffield United did not play bad.
No, they didn't.
They played quite well, I thought. Middlesbrough would, to be honest.
And they started to get a little bit of purchase towards the end of the match as well. They were getting their chances. Obviously, Middlesbrough and most teams will end up going a little bit defensive. They will sit off just a little bit. They don't want to make that mistake of breaking too soon, missing a pass or whatever, and giving a golden opportunity. So that's kind of natural. And Sheffield United were trying to get in there. They were getting a couple of chances here and there, but just couldn't take any of them. So interesting, good match there. So let's talk about Wrexham, because I've got a crowd tonight shouting at me in the chat. Well done, guys. The chat is chatting. Why aren't we talking about Wrexham? Because it's chat. But okay, we do have a few things to talk about. And as I said, I haven't discussed this match because I haven't been on any of the shows, because I've been a little bit ill. But I wasn't overly happy about the match. What can you do? The big thing, I suppose, that everybody was talking about, and you may have already discussed part of this last night. Obviously, I'm the other one. You can tell me what you did or didn't. For once, Parky was in a little bit of a decision with his when to put on his substitutions, because his first two substitutions were injury subs. So we had James go off with a toe injury. Ultimately, that's what it turns out to be. Apparently, he's got an issue, might have a broken toe, so he could be out for a significant number of weeks now coming into the end of the season. Kakache had to go off, and he did not look happy. He looked like a player who knew he was in trouble again. Something behind his knee is what Parky was saying. That they needed to get a scan of immediately. I don't think that they have, as of yet, announced what that is or how long he'll be out with that, but probably significant. Earlier in the week before the match started, Broadhead went out, though it appears that might be a little bit more of maintenance and taking care of him, because he got a kick in the previous match. So we're having some injury problems. And in the match then, that left us with a scenario where we only had one more substitution window to make, unless he decided to do something at half-time. But again, that's a bit early to decide what to do there. And then he put three players on together. What do you do in this scenario? It's kind of, okay, do you risk it for a biscuit? We were losing anyway. Make your three substitutions early. I personally would have swapped out my entire front line. I don't think it was working. Kiefer Moore was left completely isolated the entire match. There was nobody near him. And unfortunately, Moore isn't fast enough to be left on his own and to get around defenders and kind of score in that way. So we were left lumping balls up to him, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We can score quite a few headers in that scenario. But today, they decided to lump in three centre-backs who were the same size or bigger than Kiefer Moore. And for some reason, I'm going to put this on Moore now, he decided not to jump for a lot of these balls in. And the defenders took their opportunities to jump and swing the elbow, because they can pretend that they're, trying to get purchase on their jump. Like, what your arm swinging got to do with that? I don't know. and he got whacked in the head numerous times into the face. I think it was absolutely on purpose. I think it was a bit of gamesmanship there, and I think Moore let himself in for it because he didn't jump with some of them there. And a lot of people have been calling to say that, if we're not going to give Moore the support up there, he can't take on three of these guys. It's near impossible. So what do? Another option is to put three fast players. I say, okay, we're not going to lump them in with those big guys. We're going to come in fast and quick. We're going to try and play through them. We're going to try and shoot from distance. We're going to other plays to get in and around them, and we're good enough to do it. That's the problem. So I do kind of agree that Parky got it wrong with the lineup a bit. But I will give him that little bit that he was hampered with substitutions, but we know he's not great at doing substitutions early and changing things up. Once he makes a decision, he kind of plays with what he did.
Yeah, I think I said, I think it was, I can't remember if it was with Josh. I had to go on Josh's show and calm him down, talk him off a ledge because he was about to jump. It was rather comical, actually, bless him. No, I think Parkinson made the mistake of doing what every manager in this level has done at least once or twice. He tried to out Millwall, and you just don't do that. Not when they've got Jake Cooper at the back. Jake Cooper, for the last decade or so, has just been an absolute monster. You do not play long ball, or you do not play balls, even if you've got a big target man, because he does not lose headers at his level. He's just a beast. The only way to play against this Millwall side is you get legs around them and you put the ball on it and you get it in behind them. That's what you got to do against them. And like you said, Paddy, I think when I saw the starting lineup, I just thought, I'm not. That's exact. If you had asked Millwall and Alex Neil what Wrexham side you wanted to face at the start of that game, I bet you almost player for player, it was what was put out there.
Yeah. So who did he have with him? He had Rathbone and O'Brien, I think, wasn't it? Starting. Yeah. So Rathbone and O'Brien, they were always going to play deep. That's the way they do. They start from deep and they come in with the ball, and they're usually trying to play it in with Moore. And they don't play together that often. Usually it's one or the other, and that's in there either supported by Broadhead or Windass. So that was also a little bit strange for me. I didn't like it. We're getting quite good at the 3-4-3, and we weren't playing a flat 3. It was a little odd. But in saying that, we actually had our chances, and they were not playing well either. We actually were dominating long stretches of that match. We did get some chances, and we could have won it still. We could have won it. We lost the second goal when we were chasing. But Max with his own goal. I'm going to give Max a bit of stick. I don't know what the hell he was doing. That was a brain fart. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to knock it out past the post. He got it completely wrong.
I'll be honest. I don't blame him in the slightest. Josh was showing me after the show the other day about he had the replay up. I think there was an angle which I don't know what highlights he was watching, but there's an actual perfect angle where their guys crossed it in and Ivanovic is going near post and he's gone to head it and he's completely missed it. And if this view, you can see Max is dead in line with Ivanovic. So Ivanovic has completely missed it and it's took Max by complete surprise. He's not expecting the ball. It's just literally come across and it's just hit him. I think he was unsighted. And originally when I saw it, I was like, what the hell is he doing? But from that angle, I was like, actually, I can understand that because Ivanovic is completely, I won't say air-shotted it, but he's gone to head it, he's just mistimed it, and it's literally just gone straight past his forehead, and Max has got absolutely no time to react.
That's an interesting one. I didn't go back and look at it to see that. But if that's what happened, fair play.
That's what it looked like to me. Yes, I'm sure he could have still done better, of course, but I think, in those situations, I think it's hard to react that quickly when you're not expecting the ball, and it was fizzed across as well.
Yeah, Chris is saying there Max looked defeated all game, even before that. Max did not have a good game. He was having a particularly difficult match, and a lot of people were speculating, is he the type of player that potentially falls apart if someone is chasing behind him? Because it's Viner's coming in, and everybody's looking at it saying, is Max going to be the one losing his spot? Did Max try to do too much? Did he let the pressure get to him? Whatever it is, still a young guy, you know. Someone put up a graphic the other day. I put it in Discord. That Max has now played the most minutes or matches, I'm not sure which, since Parky has joined. And that's everybody. He's just past Mullen now, with the amount of time / matches he's played. Which is obviously a lot. Hashtag save Max.
He was already saved, Sean. We've got something else going.
So yeah, look, maybe he's going to sit for a little bit, but Viner's not ready yet. So he will get another couple of shots, maybe, to prove himself again. And if this is just a blip, I'm sure Parky will, not be too harsh on him. But we'll see how that goes.
I thought Doyle was at fault for your second goal. I thought his positioning was wrong, and he panicked and threw himself at a pass which he was getting. I mean, don't get me right; it's a wonderful ball by that essay. The essay, I think Aziz. Sorry, but yeah, I think when Josh showed me the highlight, I was like, yeah, whoever. I didn't know who it was. I said, whoever that guy is, he's kind of sold you defence there. To be fair. It's a wonderful finish, though, to give credit to the lad.
Yep. So I suppose that's all I'm going to say about the match. I'm not going to dig into it too much. We could have won it still. Injuries are a worry. I don't like those injuries. Before the window, we were talking, okay, what are they going for? Is it a left wing back or a right wing back? But it's definitely a wing back. And everybody was calling for the left wing back first. Then Parky came out and actually kind of confirmed it was the right wing back they were looking at. And then we got none. And now we have Kikache gone again. We'll wait and see what's going to happen with that. Maybe there's some miracle cure that's not nearly as bad as it is, as he thought it was, and he's just freaking out because he's had so many injuries this season already. But if he's gone out again, he's barely played for us this season, and we're going to have tough choices.
We were talking about that in relation to, like, if we, injuries and stuff, and it's the same with Kikachi. It's, I had no idea what the injury is, but I won't say we're so close to the end of the season, but you're in the home stretch now. So if he's out for, say, 6 weeks or so, or say 6 weeks minimum.
It's the bones. It's the real bones of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's almost season ending, isn't it? Because you'd say 6 weeks, then it's not like it's like anything, is it? Somebody's out for 6 weeks, but that's when they get back in training, then they've got to get match fit. Then, it's like, so, all right, 6 weeks, they're back on the grass. It's like, well, yeah, but then it's another 2-3 weeks really before they're ready to contribute. So all of a sudden 6 weeks becomes 9. You put 9 weeks now, you're into the final throes of the season. So, yeah, it's we're at that point now where anyone who gets like a bad injury, it could really hurt. But it's a shame for the lad because, like you said, he's had problems all season. I know Josh mentioned it and just sort of saying, well, he hasn't had injury problems until he came to you guys. And as I said, maybe his body's just struggling to cope with the physicality and the pace of the championship. Maybe it's just, an adjusting phase. I don't know.
Yeah, and we were discussing earlier how close everything is at the moment, and we've previously discussed all season, especially early in the season, how tight championships can be, how close you can get to the playoffs and miss out, how many teams might be there. And a lot of teams were good enough and maybe deserved to be there, maybe over people who actually ended up there. And they fall to the wayside because of injuries. Yeah. You get the wrong injuries in the wrong spot of your club, and even for a 3 week, if you have one or two players that are crucial to your teams go out, that can be enough to destroy the end of your run and stop you making it. Now, I was thinking we had depth. We built in a bit more depth to the squad, but everybody said immediately we don't have depth at wing backs. And that's where we're potentially having this issue now. So on the left-hand side, we have Longman can cover. He can cover both sides. And we have Thomason, who came in, did an absolute monster job in his first match. Has maybe calmed down since then, but he has done okay. But he's not a natural wing back, and he has his flaws. And now we've seen some of those flaws when he's been playing, which was kind of expected. On the right-hand side, Kabore is back. Big argument online between different fans as to how good and how well they rate him. He's pretty good. He still is not linking up with the rest of the team very well. They don't understand each other quite the same. But damn, do defenders go after him, Kabore. They are all scared to death of him. They double team him. I've seen him triple team again and again. We just have to figure out how to use that better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
if teams are not yet.
Yeah. I mean, if teams are double, triple teaming, it means usually
space somewhere else.
The opposite guy on the left-hand side is probably free as a bird. Yeah, I think, as I think I said to Josh, the thing for Kabore when I've seen him play, I think he's a real menace going forward, and like I said, he will worry defences. I would just worry about the opposite way. I think he probably leaves Max a little bit exposed at times for me. But I think Max has done a great job in coping with it.
It's really interesting because previously, before Kabore was injured, Max and him seemed to have a really good connection. They were working really well. And then lately, Max has managed to kind of shine a little bit himself when they're doing that interplay. He got some nice crosses in, he got an assist and stuff like this. He's now taking a couple of shots himself, a bit more. I wonder if he's looking at Doyle on the other side and maybe thinking, oh, well, that's what I need to be doing. But lately it's not been working. I'm not going to blame Max for that. I'm not quite sure who's responsible for it, but the interplay between the two of them just hasn't been amazing the last little while since he's come back. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, no one knows the situation. I mean, Kabore could be thinking, he may already know that in the summer he's going to get a move somewhere. So he may be thinking kind of selfishly where he just needs to stand out. Yeah. So he's been a bit of a lone wolf because he's thinking, I need to get myself in the shop window for the best opportunity in the summer. As much as we don't want to think players would do that in detriment to your team, but hey, it's a short career, and
that's an interesting one because I suppose it makes the assumption that he doesn't want to play for us. Because there is every opportunity that we would offer him a contract and take him in the summer as well. So maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's other issues, but he tries to work with the crowd. He seems to love it when the crowd are singing his name. He seems quite comfortable most of the time. So I would hope that's not quite the case. But yeah, it's likely he's going to be sold this summer to somebody. And if we don't take him, someone needs him. And it's a logical point. You need to also think about yourself. I need to look good. I'm just back from injury. That's something else to consider. I'm just back from injury. Everything before that injury, a lot of people will just write off. What have you done lately? What have you done since you came back?
I mean, the other aspect is the club themselves might be being a bit coy. He may have reached out and and wanted some, are you guys interested? And the club may have just gone, with the injuries and the club may have just gone, "Oh, we'll assess in the summer," sort of thing, just keeping their options open. So that's the thing. We'll never know the truth, will we?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but we need him now.
Yeah.
We absolutely need him now, because we essentially only we have Barney as well, so he stayed and got a spot after the window closed. So, but Parky does not want to use Barney. It's very clear he doesn't want to use Barney. So we got Longman, Thomason, and Kabore now if Kakac is out. So I'm worried. I am worried about the next couple of matches. Obviously, we got the FA Cup first. I would love an FA Cup run, just for the fact we haven't really done it. We're up here. We could take out Ipswich and move on, but at the moment with injuries and stuff like that, I'm starting to go the road of, well, screw it. Let's just worry about the league and not have another match moved. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's sod's law, isn't it? You go for that sort of game and then you lose Kabore, for example. I mean, as a fan, you think worst case scenario, don't you? Everyone does it at their own club. So no, I'm the same. We obviously we're at home in the FA Cup, whereas we're playing Leeds, and I think we've got a decent chance of turning them over. But I'll be brutally honest, I want the whole reserves to, but I don't want any of the main players to risk. It's just not worth it. Really isn't.
Well, the one kind of positive I will just throw out there is when Kakache and Kabore both went out early in the season, everybody freaked. And we're like, oh shit, this is a big problem. And we survived. Longman played really well. We did okay. We had Maka for a while. He actually didn't do that bad. But we let him go in January. And now the other alternative that we're not really aware of just yet is Viner. He has stated that he has played right wing back this year, previously. So, how good is he on that side? He's surely championship ready. Might be interesting to see. But if he's playing that role, it does mean Kapore's gone down, most likely, or gone massively out of favor. Because Kabore will maybe need to come off for some minutes at some point. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly he might be willing to use Viner. But we still got Longman. That's Longman's preferred side as well. So I would say you probably don't need Viner. But if he prefers Longman on the left, then we've no one on the right. So Viner might get a shot. So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, the key is I think I said to Ken, is you kind of when you, in regards to chasing top six, you almost need to forget looking at the table in the sense of, oh, we're sixth, we're seventh, and all that. It's just about points, and it's just realistic. As I said to him, it's about getting to that Easter weekend and being in contention. Whether you're sixth, you're fifth, or you're seventh, as long as you're in points touch. And you're there right at the business end of the season. That's all that really matters. It doesn't matter whether, where you are at the moment. It's just a question of how many points are you to that top six, or how many points away are you?
Yeah, but we're there now. Let's see if we can stay there. Yeah. Sean is saying aim for 70 points and there will be a decent chance of playoffs. Yeah, ish. Probably a little bit more. 72, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But I think we've been doing enough on Wrexham, because as I gave out for earlier, this is Champ Chat, not Wrexham Chat. So on this bombshell, at least we're not getting memes like this. Guys, on your way out, do give likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. It helps the YouTube algorithm that ruins our life. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.